All right, let's see. I think we're supposed to be streaming about right now. And it says that I'm live, so I am here and in picture. Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Thursday share day. I hope everybody is having a wonderful morning. Thank you for checking in today on another episode. I guess you could say episode. Yeah, I guess it's an episode. Normally I would tell you right now that I've had my 2 cups of coffee and I'm on to my water. As you can see, I'm still on my 2nd cup. It's one of those slow mornings for some reason. And it seems like I have a lot of things that I would like to share with you guys today. So if you guys are watching, chime in, tell me hi, what's going on, how you're doing, and we will go on ahead and get started. I didn't know exactly what I was going to share today because there's a lot of things that are going on, and I have received a lot of really good questions doing my Tuesday's Q&A afterwards, and some of them came during it, so I wasn't able to cover everybody's questions. So I thought today one of the questions caught my attention, and I thought it's a perfect one for a share. For a Share Thursday share day. So this is a question in reference to brick walls, and it came from Jarrett Ross. Jarrett has a YouTube channel, and I invite you guys go see Jarrett's channel. Hey Jarrett, how's it going? It's GeneaVlogger, and I have the link down below. You guys can go on ahead, click on it, and go over and go see him, but wait until we're done here so you can hear what the question was that he had. But go see him. He's got some good information on there. I will tell you one thing that caught my attention recently that he posted on. It had something to do with researching in the Netherlands. Sorry, my nose is itching. In the Netherlands, he was talking on there about how the records, they have thousands of records that are free access, and they did something different over there in the Netherlands. They opened up all records, free access, and I was curious as to why, and he sent me back a message to let me know that it was open information that would allow for more innovation. I had to read it down below because I wanted to make sure I got quoted exactly what it was that he said to me. So that's really nice, and that's neat. If you're researching and you have ancestors over in the Netherlands, know that those records are over there for free access, and you can get on the internet. Go watch Jarrett and what he's going to talk to you about. I think that was the last video that he posted, so it would have been a day ago. It would have been, I don't know if it was yesterday, day before yesterday. But go on over there and take a look. Like I said, I've got his link down below. But back to the question that he asked me. He asked me about brick walls. And, hold on. Sorry. I'm very calm today, as you can tell, because I haven't had this 2nd cup yet. But he was asking me about brick walls, and an example of a brick wall that maybe I broke through that I found was difficult to go through, or I had fun doing it. And the first one that came to mind was a brick wall that I'll share with you guys. I was trying to identify the 3rd great-grandfather's mother. So that would have been the 4th great-grandmother. And I knew who the 4th great-grandfather was. I just didn't know who the mother was. And that was because there were 3 women living in the same household with this one gentleman. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking, and that's exactly what I was thinking. Oh, boy, this is going to be really interesting. It did get interesting. It turns out what made it even more difficult was the 3 women that were living with him, they were all sisters. So some of you might have heard me discuss this story before through some writing that I did on my blog site, or on my, I don't think I put this on my website. I think it was on a blog back when I was doing blog postings on a blog site years ago. But it turns out the problem was, like I said, there were 3 women and 1 man in the house. The 3 women were the sisters. So here I have 3 women and the man in the house who is actually the father, but I didn't know which one of these 3 was the mother. So it turns out the three that were the sisters, the oldest one was unwed, and I'm assuming, I don't know. She wasn't getting married, but her youngest sister caught the attention of this gentleman. That was this gentleman here, and he wanted to marry the youngest daughter, the youngest sister of the three. Well, during this time, if it's usually the oldest was the one that had to marry, and once she would have been married, then it kind of goes, kind of like a stairs, it kind of goes down. So if the oldest one wasn't married, the parents were not going to allow the youngest one to get married. Well, another fact about the youngest one, she was labeled as a deaf, dumb, mute. I know that's hard to hear, but that was the way they were identified during this time frame. We're talking fourth great grandparents. Census records, you know, they have that. If you've ever seen the census records, you'll note on there, you'll see where it says that they were blind, they were unable to read, write, blind, could not hear, and you'll even see on some of the categories on the census where to say deaf, dumb, mute. So anyway, she was a deaf, dumb, mute, and then the middle daughter, there wasn't really a lot of information on her. So it turns out that the parents said, you can marry the youngest one if you make, and these were the words, if you make home or if you make bed with the other two. So, wait a minute, maybe I said that wrong. He couldn't marry her. He had to marry the oldest one, and if he married the oldest one, then he could have the other two. And that's what happened. He married the oldest daughter and made bed with the other two. So when I found them on the records and I was finding the information and reading about them, it was the three sisters living in the house with the gentleman, and the oldest one and the gentleman, they were married. So now I have information letting me know that yes, these three are the sisters. This gentleman married the oldest one, but the number of children that were in the house, there were 10 children in the house. And within that time frame, if you think about it, there is no way within 10 years there could be 10 children in that house unless, well, actually it wasn't 10 years. It was a 20 years later, I apologize. I'm trying to recall this off of the top of my head. Hey guys. Hey Jarrett, how you doing? I'm talking about the question that you were asking me about on brick walls. So it turns out that he had followed through with what their parents wanted, was to make home, make bed with all three of the siblings, all three of the sisters. So now I have three sisters in the house there's 10 children in the house, and within the time frame, there's no way these women could have produced this many children. They would have never gotten up and walked around the house. They would have been in birth the whole entire time if it was just one or even if it was two. So further research identified that at one point the middle sister had moved out of the house and lived on the land that was given to the fourth great grandfather. Lived on that land and had the house and had a small store, which was more like it was a bakery where she would sell baked goods that she would sell out of her house, and it was identified as a store that she had. And then the other sister, the oldest one, was still living in the house with him. Now, the one that had the bakery, she had children that were with her that appeared, which I was really thankful for, because then that identified two of the children that were with the middle sister, so I knew which two children were hers. So then we come to the deaf, dumb, mute, and the oldest sister. So the girl that was labeled as the deaf, dumb, mute, she also lived on the land that the fourth great grandfather had, and she had her children in there with her. And then the like I said, the oldest one was living in the home with the 4th great grandfather. So this is really confusing story. This could be made into a soap opera back in the, late 1800s, early 1900s soap opera. And I can joke about this because I will tell you guys this is my family. So anyway, so this is really, so I was able to identify who the third, I was looking at the time trying to identify who the mother was of the 3rd great grandfather, of my 3rd great grandfather. And I was able to identify the mother of the 3rd great grandfather because she appeared on the census record with him in the house. She was the middle one who had a small bakery, who would sell baked goods out of the house. So as far as a brick wall goes, that was probably one of the most exciting, strenuous, what in the world is going on kind of brick wall, because I find out that the 3 women, they're sisters, who's married, and one of them is married to the 4th great grandfather, my 4th great grandfather, which turns out my 4th great grandfather then is not only my 4th great grandfather, but he's also my uncle, which maybe isn't that uncommon if you stop and think about it for those who are doing research. That was probably, I know I kind of went around and around. That was probably one of the strangest brick walls I couldn't follow a normal path when you're going through a brick wall, when you're trying to break through a brick wall. Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Jarrett. It definitely could be a soap opera. You're right. So it wasn't a normal path to take. And one thing I want to say real quick is, I keep saying brick wall, and one thing I always tell everyone, don't go to this thinking that you have to destroy or break down the whole brick wall. This is a perfect example of, I had to remove one brick at a time. You have to chisel it away one brick at a time. So the first brick that I had to break through is identify who these 3 women were in the house with this gentleman. And once I identified that they were sisters, okay, that brick is removed. Now I can look at some of the other bricks that are on this wall that I have to identify who these sisters are, who are their parents, who are these children. So no one, when researchers, whenever anybody is talking about a brick wall, it is nearly impossible, and I don't know of anyone that I can quote or refer you to who has said they have faced a brick wall and they broke it down with one find like that. Usually it takes a lot of them. So I look at a brick wall as a brick wall. There's a lot of different bricks that are there, and you have to try and remove each one of the bricks at a time. It takes a while. Sorry guys, I have to do a little housekeeping here. So that was one of the brick walls that I had that was so strange. I probably should have shared with my family that I was going to share that story, but they already know. It's history. That's it. I mean, it's history. It's what makes what happened. We might not agree with, we might not like what happened, but it's history. It's what brings us here to today, and we learn from it. So, yeah, and you know what was funny also about that gentleman, about my 4th great grandfather, I keep saying gentleman, not only was he married to 1, but made bed with 3, who are all sisters, he was a war hero. So, sorry, I don't know if you guys are like me, but having 2 cups of coffee is a definite must for me in the morning. Another one story that I wanted to share, I was trying to think of other brick walls that I've encountered, and one of them was one of the craziest ones, and this could be another soap opera the way it's going, the way that it went, I should say, because this one I closed. And I will say this, that just so you guys know, as a professional genealogist, I follow APG, which is the Association of Professional Genealogists guidelines. I do not discuss any research that I do on any of my clients without written permission from them. After my research is done, they have the right, if they choose, to allow me to use the research that I did for them during a presentation or during a write-up on my website, or even now through the YouTube channel. But I do not give the names. That even though they give me permission to do that, I won't give the names, just out of respect. I'm not going to do that. But if they want to go on ahead and share it, they're more than welcome to, because it's their family. But this one that I'm going to share with you is one that I did research for somebody. And again, I will not mention names of who this is, or who it is I did the research for, or who any of them were. Yeah, that's right, Jarrett. You always include a waiver in the form of a contract with your clients when you're doing the research. That's something that I do, and I hope everyone else out there who does this, does research, who's a genealogist, who does research, family researcher, I hope you guys do include something like that in there, in the contracts that you give to your clients. But this one was research that I did, and it was in Canada. The lady heard that her 2 times great-grandfather was in Canada, and he was coming to the United States, and he was killed in a boating accident. Well, I dove in a little bit more on the story, and she was trying to identify if he had more children, because there was a rumor that he had more children. Well, it turns out there was a whole big make-believe story that was going on with this lady and her family, which is really common. I always tell everyone, when you're contacting me about doing your family research, or you're talking to someone, I hear people talking about their family history. You always hear, you know that saying, you take it with a grain of salt. And this is true, you do. I always look at it as kind of like when you were younger, you might have played this game called the telephone game, to where somebody whispers something into your ear. Say, for example, the pink elephant ran through the purple flowers. And by the time it gets all the way around, back around to you, to where you're the one that started it, it goes from pink elephant running through purple flowers to a purple giraffe with green polka dots sipping a smoothie at the gas station. I mean, what starts here, there's so many different things that are added to it, and things can change. And that's just the way that it is. That's the way some family stories are passed around. Now, sometimes you get lucky and it follows through, and it's the way that it started. But with this one, they were under the impression that he was killed in a boating accident going from Canada coming to the United States. And the reason he was on the boat, because he was stressed, because he had just lost his wife. She had passed away, and she evidently was hit. Hey, Kristen. She was hit by a speeding car. Well, it turns out, through the research that I did, that I found, and I found it through newspaper articles, which is really strange when you think about it. These things were appearing in the newspaper, and the family wasn't even seeing any of it. That she was not killed in a train accident. She died while giving birth. She was not killed by a car. She died while giving birth on a train, and he was distressed about it. And yes, he did leave. He did leave to go get on a boat. So first off, the lady didn't die in a car accident. She died on the train while giving birth, traveling on the train. And then he did get on a boat to come to the United States from Canada, but it turns out he made it. He did not die. There was a boat that went down. The family, I guess, just assumed that the boat that went down was the one that he was on. So I was giving the benefit of doubt. That's what played out, because when he came here to the United States, he lived here in the United States, and then lo and behold, his granddaughter actually purchased a home and lived in a home where he had lived at just a few houses down from him, and he was still in the home. At that time, he was 78, I think, at that time. So she didn't even know she was living down the street from her own grandfather. So I mean, that was one of those stories to where, or one of those brick walls that I was looking at, because they were stuck. They couldn't figure out, he died at sea. Were there other kids? And when he came to the United States, he did remarry. So she was growing up next door to her family. She was growing up next door to her grandfather and next door to aunts and uncles that she didn't even know that she had. So it wasn't until finding the newspaper article of where the mother passed away on the train while giving birth. Once I located that, then I was able to identify where she passed away at, and I was able to get more information on her death and to identify him, and I was able to track where he went after that. So if it wasn't for that, and I don't want to give too much information because then it could come into me giving some of the names, and I don't want to do that. Just the outline, I guess you could say outline idea of what, I keep looking here, this hair, as to what took place in another strange research brick wall to go through. So it was both of them were fun to do. One was really personal for me because it was my family. The other one was fun to do because it was kind of this mystery. He passed away. He died when the ship went down. No, he didn't die when the ship went down. It was another ship that went down, and he ended up making it over here, got remarried, had kids, and you just wonder if he even realized that was his own granddaughter that was living down the street. That's just one of those, you just can't, it's just one of those things where you just think, good grief, how do you not know? I mean, nowadays, it's a little different. It's easier to, hey guys, it's easier to identify, okay, now that was a Facebook. No, this is not a fancy cup. It's Brazil coffee cup. I don't know. I probably should not have said that. It's just a coffee. It's nothing. And I drink. It's a breakfast blend from. Yeah, it's a Keurig breakfast blend that I have in there with my creamer. I drink fufu coffee, but I don't have a fufu cup. I need to get a fufu cup. I need to get a cup that has some bling on it or has something fancy written on there. I don't know. I'll come up with something. Maybe you guys can come up with something and let me know what kind of cup I need to have. Drink my coffee out of. All right, so that is what I wanted to share with you today on some brick wall ideas. That is some fun that I have with the brick walls I have. I know you guys have encountered brick walls and chiseling away at some of those bricks, one brick at a time. Send me some messages. Let me know. Share with all of us and let us know what kind of brick walls that you've encountered and how you broke through them. Because they're all stories. Yeah, we look at it, it's our, you can look at it as your job or your passion, your hobby to break through those walls. But in the end, it becomes a big story. And it's a story that if you can share it. Because you've learned something from it, and then you might offer everyone else the opportunity to learn something from the process that you went through. Before I end everything today, I did give a shout out to Jarrett. Go visit his blog, his YouTube channel. And I put the link down below. I also want to mention a couple other things here if I can. There is another, and Paul, please forgive me if I say this incorrectly. Paul Chiddicks, he is in the UK, and he has been following me through Twitter and through Facebook and commenting on my channel, my YouTube channel. He really knows his stuff. He is if you guys have ever seen Family Tree, the Family Tree magazines that are from out of the UK, or Family Tree newsletters, he has an article that appeared in the Family Tree newsletter that I wanted to tell you guys about, because I'm trying to remember, I think it was last week, that I talked about the importance of historical societies, genealogy societies, and the different things that you can find there, and how to use social media for, hey guys, at Grand Point, how you doing? Social media, and how to use social media in doing your research, and the benefits that you can get from it. Well, Paul actually had something that came up on the Family Tree newsletter, so I put the link down below, and you can go see what he wrote about it. It was, I'm trying to remember the title, I have it written down here, Family History, the Alternative Guide to Joining a Form of a Family. So he talks about the benefits of it. So, I mean, I'm not the only one that thinks that there's additional benefits in using social media when we do our research. And when you're doing your research to find your family, you can find things through the social, like I said, through Google, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I mean, there's all sorts of different forums out there, all different groups you can join. So go and visit him, his letter and his site, and take a look. I've put the links down below for him. Also, I want to mention, I want to give a shout out to Heather Wilkinson. Heather is has a blog page, and this I'm going to start calling Blogger Watch, because there are a lot of bloggers out there who give you some really good tips and have some really good stories and things for you guys that I think you guys might find interesting in reading. Heather is the author of the Nutifield Genealogy. I always want to say the Nutifield. It's Nutifield Genealogy. She does family research in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine, and Nova Scotia. She is a member of the Mayflower Society, and this is what I wanted you guys to take a look at. I have never had the opportunity to go see half of the stuff that she has. And on her blog page, she takes you, it's like you're traveling with her when you're reading her blog, and you see the photographs that she attaches to these. She sees some amazing things. You learn some amazing things about the Mayflower, about the history, about her travels in England, and you know who is on the it's just, you guys really need to go take a look. Please go take a look at her her blog page. I have her link down below also for you guys to take a look at and see what she has. It's really, it's a fun blog to read. It has she does a lot more than just on the Mayflower. I mean, she researches a lot of her own family history, her family surnames, and she has those listed on there. And who knows, you guys might actually be connected to her through your ancestors, and you guys might be able to make that connection and find out and have a little bit of history to share with each other. The other thing I want to share with you is, because I get the questions about also what is it that I use, what tools do I use, whether it's through reading software, how do I record how do I record things, how do I scan things, and all of these different. So I figured every once in a while when I come across something I want to share with you guys, I'll share it with you. A tool that I use that helps me. Sorry. So this one is from Maureen, I can't even say it, Maureen Taylor. This is a book that she put out, that she wrote. She has a couple books that she's done, and this is the Family Photo Detective. You guys, when looking at your family photographs, I've talked about family photographs, I've written about family photographs, how you need to look at the pictures to break them apart, to become a detective, you're kind of like with your magnifying glass, Sherlock Holmes, trying to get the information out of those photographs. This book that she has, it breaks it down for you. She helps you to identify and gives you tips on helping you to identify, you know, the period time, looking at the clothing, where her collar is, how big her collar is, you know, the colors in the photograph, the type of paper that it's been printed on. Who knew that there were so many things that you needed to know to pick apart, to identify when the photograph was taken, the time period, where it was taken at. She can help you. Reading this book will give you so many clues. One thing I had in here recently, because I had this on my desk and I had seen something before on it, and Maureen, I hope it's okay. I'm gonna show this. But when you're looking at photographs, sometimes they have they have displays. They kind of set the scene, so to speak, when they take the photograph. And I kept seeing, there were a couple pictures that I saw that had hay in it, and I couldn't figure out why on earth would they throw hay in there, and that does nothing to help me at all when I'm looking at a picture and I see hay on the ground. That just tells me that the photographer didn't have a nice studio and he just threw hay on the floor. But that's not the case, because here in this picture here, down in the caption below, as I'm reading through this section on props and backdrops that she has, If you guys have this book and you're actually watching right now, if you go to page 91, it tells you about it. But it says here that many studios use theatrical backdrops and props in their photographs. Note the hay in the foreground in this 1888 photograph. So I guess that was pretty common during that time frame to have the hay down there, because you have the scene in the back, the backdrop in the back, as if there's, you know, sitting at the bottom of a staircase, and then there's hay on the ground. So I could not figure that out when I saw that. And then when I saw it in other photographs, so I saw that in there. And I use this a lot. If you watch on, if you visit my website, and there's others who do, let me pull this up here. If there's others that you visit on in genealogy websites or blog pages, sorry guys, maintenance again. Hey guys. Yeah, no, they were asking about how they can get this book. I have a link down below to where if you guys want to go on ahead and go, because I know it's through Amazon. I sent her a message to let her know that I was going to do this, and I believe I put her link down below so you can visit her her site also. But I don't even remember where I was at. Sorry. So yeah, great book. Oh, on Wordless Wednesday, a lot of genealogists and family historians, they joined this group called GeneaVloggers, who Thomas McKinta is the one that, I think he's the one that organized it and started putting it together. I know he got the idea from, incorporated an idea that he learned from someone else. But on this Wordless Wednesday, you can post photographs that have no words in them, no identification in them, and it's just fun to share. Well, I've been sharing some here lately on the Maplehurst camp, which was, if you guys go to my website, ARodeskyGenealogy.com, and I think I've got the link down below, you can go and see some of the photographs that were done from the Maplehurst camp, to where they actually, I have photographs on there from where they went bear hunting and deer, and I mean, I think most of them were dated, some are dated 1914, 1917, so that's the kind of thing where a book like this will help you in identifying and breaking down some of the people, you know, identifying the period that it was taken by looking at the paper, the clothing, and she even gives you clues on how to identify the people in the picture as if they're related by looking at familiar facial features that they have. So, and she's known as the photo detective. And the last thing that I want to talk to you guys about, and I put the links down below because I have been having so much fun. I have been sponsored and with Living DNA on doing doing my DNA, and I shared it live through Facebook when I went to go pick it up, and then I shared it live again yesterday, but I did it on Twitter of actually collecting the samples. So I put the links down below so you guys can see this and go with me on this journey through with Living DNA and getting my DNA samples and finding out a little bit more about my ancestors through Living DNA. So their links are down, the link is down below so you can view the videos, and there's also a link down below to Living DNA. And I think I want to mention real quick, they do have a special that's going on. It's a limited time. Regularly, I had it, I think it's now, yeah, it was $159 for a regular, that was the regular price. They have it on a limited time special right now for $99. So links down below. You guys can go to livingdna.com. The link down below. I know it's more than .com. Let me see. Oh, livingdna.com/en-us. But the link's down below. Go on ahead, take a look. Take a look at the videos. Let me know what you guys think of the videos. I'm having fun making them. And I will see you guys. I know this is a lot. I did a lot this time. I will see you guys next week on Tuesday for Q&A. So if you guys have some of your questions you would like to ask me or get some answers to, please send me those questions and I will get to answering them. And I will see you guys on Tuesday next week. So yeah, I'm doing that. I'm getting this down. So I will see you guys Tuesday next week. Have a great weekend, and thank you for watching Thursday Share Day here on ARodesky Genealogy. And if you like what I'm doing, down below, give me some thumbs up. Let me know. Subscribe. Click the subscribe button. And I think there's a little bell there. So if you click on that little bell, you'll get a little ring every time I go on and I post a new video or I go live, and you'll know what's happening. So leave me some comments, and I will talk to you guys next week. So take care and have a good week.